Hey fuckers, my laptop broke.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
But guess what? Your boy got a bougie new MacBook, so my videos are officially back now. I'm low-key running out of ideas, so today I'm going to talk about how Panic at the Disco ruined my life. I know another non-K-pop video, but I have to make sure I don't forget my emo roots even though I am a K-pop stan now. So my first memory of hearing Panic at the Disco was when we got Rock Band 2. 9 in the afternoon was on there and I remember playing it all the time. I was about 8 at the time, so my music taste was still a super weird mix of the Red Hot Chili Peppers and Disney Channel original movie soundtracks. Anyway, after finding 9 in the afternoon, I decided to Google them with my limited 8-year-old brain. I found their first album, A Fever You Can't Sweat Out, and I thought it was cool. I don't know, I was very young, but they were really the first quote emo unquote band I fell in love with. So anyway, I kind of just went along with whatever until 2013, right before Too Weird to Live Too Rare to Die was about to come out, when I rediscovered them. By this time only Brendan and Alan were left. Spencer had just left the band. I was low-key confused as fuck because where the hell is Ryan Ross, my sweet baby? I need him in my life, he owns my whole heart. So anyway, I guess Giraffe Boy and King Forehead were the only ones left at that point. So I just went along with it because I was 13, I don't know. So I really wasn't much of a deep diver into their discography until the beginning of 2018 actually. I don't remember how it happened, but one day I just decided I was going to get into their discography and devour those deep cuts. So I got really into their music and their eras, and even though I can't say I approve of every choice Brendan has made as a solo artist, I still support him even if I think his Twitch streams are cringy as fuck. Anyway, let's get right into talking about their music because that's the real reason we're here, am I right? I'm going in chronological order, and yes, I'm including the Young Veins because I love them, okay? A Fever You Can't Sweat Out. This album is so weird, I fucking love it. Ryan Ross's live journal poetry is so pretentious and low-key not that deep, but I live for it. The emo drama queen levels were high here. Ryan Ross looked like the biggest snack too, like it was such a time. 2005 was really such a year to be alive. I was in kindergarten, but shush, it's fine. Anyway, every song on this album is a big bop. I'm still so sad the obnoxiously long song title trend is dead, it really was everything. My favorites are London Beckons songs about money written by machines. There's a good reason these tables are numbered, honey. You just haven't thought of it yet. And of course Time to Dance. A big motherfucking bop. Pretty odd. This album is a fucking masterpiece. It's so fucking beautiful and it really makes me cry every time I listen to it. Ryan Ross really came out here and stole my whole heart with this whole emo Beatles aesthetic. They smoked so much weed while making this album and it really shows, to be honest. I mean that in the best way. Honestly, listening to this album, if you've never listened to Pretty Odd all the way through, you're really missing out, honestly. Gives me an out-of-body experience. It's so beautifully arranged and constructed, and honestly I'm still so whipped for Pretty Odd even 11 years later. This was the last album with my son Ryan Ross still in the band, and I really think after Pretty Odd everything changed for them. I'm still so upset even today because other than 9 in the afternoon, this album was considered a commercial failure for the band, and it's basically what caused Panic to split into two bands. If you guys would have just bought more copies, maybe we would still have Ryan Ross. SMH. I love every song on Pretty Odd with my whole soul, but if I had to name my favorites they would be Mad as Rabbits, She Had the World, and Do You Know What I Am Seeing? The Young Veins. Take a Vacation. So when Ryan Ross and John Walker left Panic, this is what they went off and made. It's honestly so underrated and I love this album more than I love myself. It got taken off of Spotify for a while and that really was a desperate time. I'm glad I have the vinyl and CD of it because not having the Young Veins on my Sad Boy Hours playlist really was the biggest tragedy of my life in 2018. Take a Vacation is like Pretty Odd on crack essentially, with Ryan and John's pretty vocals and their great instrumental work. My favorite songs on this album are Lie to the Truth, Dangerous Blues, and Die Tonight. Vices and Virtues. This album is ridiculously solid. This is probably Panic's last masterpiece. The steampunk concept was dope and I think Dallin was a great addition to the band. John Walker will forever have my heart, but I also love Dallin Weeks with my whole body. This album really combined all of the things I loved about Panic's first two albums, and added more traditional rock elements. Brendan takes over lyrics on this album and I think his best lyrics are on this album. My favorite songs here are Hurricane, The Calendar, and Nearly Witches, although the demo version remains superior. Too Weird to Live Too Rare to Die. The beginning of basically the Brendan Urie show that Panic is now, but nevertheless I love the Britpop elements added on this album. The bass lines are funky and the samples are cool as fuck. Honestly, this album is super solid and I'd call it a masterpiece if it wasn't for Miss Jackson. That song is a skip for me, to be honest. My favorites are Nicotine, Casual Affair, and The End of All Things. Death of a Bachelor. As much as I liked Panic, I managed to be so out of touch with music at the time that I genuinely don't remember hearing this album until much later. I have mixed feelings about it, honestly. I love the first half for the most part, but the second half seems kind of disingenuous. I don't know, maybe it's just my Ryan Ross stan jumping out here. Anyway, there are definitely some big bops here. Crazy Equals Genius, LA Devotee, and Don't Threaten Me with a Good Time are my personal favorites. Pray for the Wicked. If there ever was an equivalent to Fall Out Boy's Mania in terms of my disappointment, it's this album. Like sure there are definitely some bops here but nothing at the level of some of their past works. I do love some of the more Broadway elements here, but I think they come off as a little cheesy to be completely honest. Some of the songs I really like are Roaring Twenties, The Overpass, and King of the Clouds. So now we're all caught up. I hope you enjoyed this video and enjoyed my silly opinions. If you didn't, as always, go fuck yourself LMAO.
Yeah.
Hey,
Oh,
how
yeah.
much is this?
How much?
No, excuse me. Excuse me.
Oh my God.
Oh, hey, you pretty, yeah.